that shows that's got, is that?
That's it, yeah.
Okay.
Welcome to episode 45 of Beer with Strangers. I'm your host, Tony Russo, and I'm joined this week and this new year by Doug
Griffith, Xtreme Brewing.
And what's the weather like today, Doug?
The weather report today is cold. And windy. Although it's not as bad as it was yesterday, but it is just cold. I just checked about a half hour ago, and it was 23. I don't think it got above freezing today.
Yeah, it was brutal. I was saying this morning, I took the dogs out, and it was the old dog didn't have any patience being outside, but the little dog ran around for a while. The young dog, she's big, but she's young. And then I was like, all right, guys, that's enough. They like to go out pretty much right away in the morning, and the old one is so old that he can't walk down the stairs anymore. So I used to carry him down, and now he can't walk down the back stairs, but he can walk down the front stairs. So I used to carry him down, and instead now I just take him out the front and go for their morning walk, first thing when I wake up. But it was so cold that I didn't even take off my robe. I put on my coat over my robe. I felt like medieval man. So all sorts of fun today. Big year coming up. We're going to have guests. We actually already have a kind of guest, kind of booked. In 2 weeks or maybe in 3 weeks, we will have Tim Miller, who owns National Premium, which is kind of a big deal. It's an old beer that he's revived, and I literally, do you know anything about it at all, Doug?
I had a taste of it. They were down, I guess it's been a year and a half ago at the Ocean City.
HMRA.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's like my Christmas.
Hotel, restaurant, and whatever it is. Anyway, he was giving tastes out down there, so I went with somebody who belonged to that and got us in. And it was nice to see all the different liquors and beers that are available, because they're always wanting to sign people up for the restaurants and hotels. So
right.
All the local breweries were there, the people we know, plus he was there. So I got to meet him. And of course, got to taste the beer too.
I used to call that my Christmas when I was in the newspaper business over there, because I would cover that every year. And if you walk around with a notepad, they will give you all of the drinks. Yeah. And I would actually have to go outside and sleep it off before I went back to my office to write the story.
Yeah, the booze was flowing. No doubt about that.
So much fun, so much fun. But anyway, do you recall the beer at all? Or
it was good. I remember having it when I lived in Baltimore, way ago, 30-some years ago. But it was, it was very good. It was
beer flavored.
Yeah, beer flavored.
Yeah,
but it was a very nice lager beer. So
as I understand it, they're just going to do the cans of National Premium, and that's their plan. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a lot of fun to see how things go with that. And so that's our guess. We're going to try to have more guests. And just before we get to the end of the show, I want to say there's a big event at the Real Ale Revival Brewery on the 17th. They're having like cartoons and breakfast and beer. So I'm going to that.
That's a different combination.
Yeah, right. So it's Saturday morning cartoons, breakfast, and beer. And how could I miss an event like that? So that's where I'm hoping to go on again the 17th. If you get there, you can check the Real Ale Revival website or their Facebook page, I guess, is where they have it. But that looks like a lot of fun, and we'd like to have those guys on. We're also going to have on Jerry in the next couple of weeks from Third Wave.
Oh, good.
I spoke with him. Yeah. It was funny. Jerry, if you don't know Jerry, I can't wait to have him on the show, because he's one of the few people I've ever met who talks way more even than I do. And came.
Speaking of Jerry, he's going to be here at the end of the month. I think it's the 31st. We're doing an all-grain brewing demonstration, and Jerry's going to be.
Oh, is that already booked? Is that date already booked? I would let's get that firmed up, because I would like to. We maybe can film that.
Okay,
that would be fun. And that's what we were talking. He's like, "Oh, my voice is gone. My voice is gone," and then he talked for the next 4 hours, and I'm like, "Your voice is gone because you never shut up." He's like, "Yeah, I know." But we had a really nice time. I had a signing actually just before the holiday at just before New Year's at Third Wave, and they're just so great to me over there, and we got to hang out, and I hung out with Jerry and drank all day.
And you can stumble home.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's right around the corner.
All the more reason to go Third Wave. It's within stumbling distance.
I'll tell you what, I think I don't want to be too pretentious about it, but that beer has gotten to be just so good. Like all of a sudden they can do no wrong over there.
But it takes time to get used to a new brewing system. I mean, John had brewed many times at the Iron Hill. To come in with a new brewing system, it takes time to tweak it in.
Yeah, and they just, everything there is so good all the time. I was drinking, they had this, no, I'm sorry, my wife was drinking the Sundancer, I think. Is that their quad?
I order down about once a month. So.
they have this Belgian quad that's you know, and what I like about the Belgian quads, and more people are doing this, is you're not getting that alcohol-y flavor that you get with a lot of the big beers, you know.
It's smooth, and you don't realize how.
Yeah, it's a 10% beer, but it doesn't taste, because a lot of times you'll get them and you can taste the alcohol on them, and I don't want my beer to taste like someone spiked it with vodka, you know.
That's proper fermentation.
And so, speaking of proper fermentation, there are two programs here. Programs is probably a stretch of the word. 2 plans here for the new year, for immediately and then for the course of the year. The first was that you and Patty have challenged people to brew something they've never brewed before.
Well, 2 things actually. Yes, we're having a smash event.
Right.
Single malt and single hop. So we want everybody to try to brew a beer, either all grain or extract, but for all grain, you can use whatever base malt you want. So you can have a full gamut from a light beer to amber beer, medium beer, if you use one of the like Munich malt.
Right, but you're not going to be able to, for instance, there won't be any porters because that takes a separate malt.
Right. Additional malt.
Additional malt, right.
No, but you can go anywhere from a very light to a medium ale or lager. And whatever single hop you want. So we'll hopefully have a variety of beers. I mean, some that are going to be lightly hopped all the way up to super hop, like an IPA. But you're only going to use one hop, too. So second event is we're looking for new beers for ourselves to market, to sell as kits. And we want to get input from everybody. Give us your ideas. We want, you know, we're always trying new things, and sometimes we just run out of ideas. But we want looking for new beers to promote and make as kits. We'll put whoever gets wins it will get their name on the kit box and whatever the name is. We're looking for something that has local, that you can get no real exotic stuff. We need stuff that's easily gotten to make the kits for it. You can't have something that's so exotic you can't find.
Right. Yeah. That was one of the other things that happened at Third Wave is they had this log jam or lumberjack or something. Okay. You know what I'm talking about? No, but they had a homebrew competition, and whoever won the homebrew competition got to make the beer. Right. And the beer was something called like log jam. It had maple syrup in it. Is the point? And it was quite good. And Jerry's like, we couldn't afford to make that. The guy used like a gallon of pure maple syrup from Canada.
I was judge.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Was that good?
Judge. Yeah, it was good.
That was a good beer.
But that's the same thing for us. You know,
right.
We have to be able to get the stuff, make it. Now, maple syrup's not hard to get, but if you're using large quantities of it, then it gets expensive.
Yeah.
And some people will pay, but some people don't want to pay too much for, to make a kit.
And
it's got to be reasonable,
right? So, do you think that it would be interesting to do like an interesting malt combination, or
could be any number of combinations? So, and we're trying to get it so that we get both the extract. We're looking for the extract side of it, because most of our kits are extract. But we always get people coming in and want to do all grains too. So we want to be able to. We can also take an all grain recipe and then convert it to an extract.
Right. So, and now you've done that, but with many of your kits are former all grains that were
to. Most of the base ones, all the older ones, came out of the Xtreme Brewing book. Mm-hmm. We've come up with many new ones since then, but we always can make a similar recipe for an all grain.
Right, but like for instance, that Sean's, the CPA that Sean did, that he did that grain first, or was that always extract?
I'm not sure which way he went. He's done it both ways.
He's done it both ways.
Yeah, but see, some things like that, the malt is secondary, whether it's extract or all grain, it's secondary because of all the hops. You probably don't taste any of the malt because of all the hops you got in it. So the malt becomes secondary. It's just the base that produces your alcohol and body in the beer, but the hops are what all the flavor and aromas come from. So,
the malty one malty is probably an overstatement, but the malt forward one, I guess, that I always think of is a turkey drool. That's one where you get the malt, and that's a nice rich beer. It's not it's not very
and that's a blend of even the malts and some of the ingredients. The Turkish cherry pits is what give you a little bit of the cherry flavor in that, and that influences some of the flavor too in the malt. So.
Right. So, do you have any suggestions, or have people? Is this going to be like a contest where people bring in bottles of what they think?
Yeah, we're going to
try?
want 2 bottles to taste, one initial taste, and if we have a tie between 2 or 3 beers, we need to be able to retaste.
and that is separate from the Smash Up, which is
2 separate. Looking to have the Smash sometime, I think it's going to be toward the end of February, and then the next one will be sometime toward the end of March. So it gives people enough time to brew it.
Right.
So we got about 6 weeks before the end of February date. I think it's 24th of February. Don't hold me that.
Right.
The other one's another 4 weeks. So that's enough time to
both batches
to brew. Yeah.
And hopefully this also, mental note to me and to you is we want to make sure we have a woman on duty in March. We'd like to have a woman brewer for Women's Brewing Month.
Okay.
They do, I forget what they do. They usually put out a recipe for women brewers in March. So it would be fun to see about doing something like that. The other thing we'd like to do, if you're watching and know people, is we'd like to have on other make-it-your-owners. I think we're going to have at least one mead person on before too long.
Get Jay in.
Yeah. So we would love to have, but also I'm trying to find people who make cheese, because they sell cheese here, for instance, and
cheese supplies.
Cheese supplies, right?
We don't sell cheese,
but get a cheese maker on to talk about making your own cheese and maybe have a coffee roaster on, because there's lots of stuff. And a distiller, we would love to talk. I've been trying to get the Delaware distillery guy. We go back and forth on the email and the phone. Yeah, of course you know. I don't know why I asked. But we hope to have him on. We hope to have him on pretty soon, and lots of other fun stuff. I have. I did an interview with a guy who kills muskrats, so I would like to do maybe something with local muskrat killing. Maybe have. I mean, I don't think he has a computer, so we'd have a
muskrat feast.
Yeah, we'll have a muskrat feast. Muskrat beer. That's what you got to do. I could. You can get it. You can get all the dried muskrat you want.
Like oyster stout.
Yeah, like oyster stout, muskrat stout. I just want to tell this story, not for nothing, only because it's cool. I was talking to the muskrat guy, and he said that the Russian ruble crashing hurt the price of muskrat by he used to get like $12 a muskrat, and now he's getting $3.
Oh wow!
Because
hardly worth the work, probably then.
That's the problem, because China buys all the fur to sell to Russia. Now Russia's not buying fur, so China's not buying fur, so he's not selling very many muskrat. He killed one raccoon that he said he didn't know what to do with. He said because they only want $3 for the pelt.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's going to cost me $3.50 to ship it. To ship it, it's going to cost $3.50. So, and the other thing that I thought was very interesting. So keep your eye out for foxes, because the market fell out of the foxes, and he's like, it's not worth the effort for me to trap any more foxes. And then on my way home a couple nights ago, I saw a couple foxes out in the road, and I'm like, I wonder if
population's going to go up.
I wonder if everybody's like, oh yeah, well because that's another one. Like he used to get like $70 a fox, and now he's getting like $30 a fox.
I know fox in Delaware used to be couldn't trap them now. It's this fellow from Maryland or Delaware.
Maryland, it's a Maryland guy.
Yeah. It was illegal because upstate they used to chase them, fox hunts.
Oh really?
So they made it illegal to kill them so that they have plenty of foxes to
hunt.
Fox hunt. Yeah, but it doesn't help.
No, it doesn't help if you're a farmer.
Yeah,
exactly. Not even a little bit. Yeah, that's what a lot of the farmers said. You know that he could catch all he wanted. And he said he sets up right in the driveway. He said fox isn't gonna sneak around. He's gonna come right up the driveway. So he just puts the traps in the driveway, and waits for the fox. But like I said, the effort was. So anyway, keep your eye out for foxes and let us know if you see a lot, because that's gonna be an interesting part of the coming year. We're gonna do more stuff like that. We're gonna do more local
muskrats.
Well, probably not a lot of muskrat, but more local themed stuff. We're going to try to have more guests on, and we're going to have to go beyond the 12 or so brewers that we know, because that's only 12 shows, and I do see occasionally there's a few stores that advertise muskrats in today or something. Yeah. They'll have muskrat nights.
Right.
Actually, a friend of mine is a Dayton from Dayton's Restaurant in Salisbury. And so I'm hoping to speak with her father about the heydays. There used to be like lines around the block for the muskrat days or whatever. So, yeah, muskrat. All right, so on to the beer news. Keeping an eye on the clock. I'm sorry to keep looking down, guys. So it's taking us. We took 2 weeks off. We haven't taken 2 weeks off in a very long time, and it's a little long. We took 2 weeks off, and I drank for almost all of it. I had a lot of drink. Sean asked, because every time
tis the season.
I know, every time I go to Jersey, I always promise I'm going to bring back these beers that I like, that I want to share, and every time I forget. And I was telling Sean, it's just that I get there and I drink irresponsibly from the time my car doesn't move from my parents' house. People drive me around. It's almost frightening. I have to come home and drink nothing but water and eat nothing but lettuce for like 3 days. It's just I have to come home and do a detox. We were talking about New Year's Eve. On New Year's Eve this year, I actually had to stop drinking at about 7 o'clock, because that's how early I started. And I had to sober up. Yeah. And then I had like a hangover by like 10 o'clock at night. My head was pounded. So that's the kind of week I had in Jersey. But in the beer news, the reason I'm talking about this is there's been much made, or somewhat something made of people naming beers and running out of names for beers. And craft breweries always try to outdo each other with kooky names and things like that.
And some breweries coming up out of different areas with same names.
With the same name, so sometimes they fight over it. Yeah. Sometimes they, which is unfortunate, because I mean, unless you're going to be making T-shirts and things like that.
But there is a limited number of names, and especially when you got hops and malt and those things, to put those different names together, we've got to find that number.
Right. So what the solution that I like is the place that I went to one of these brew pubs where they don't distribute. If you want their beer, you can take it out in a growler, or you can drink it at the bar, and they don't name their beers. Oh, it's like IPA.
Well, then you distribute the IPA. They're just using generic names.
Exactly. Well, it's not like you have to choose between 3 IPAs they have on tap. They had 2 with it. One was called Jewish Rye, because it was a rye beer, but it was very rye. It had a lot of caraway in it. I liked it. I thought it was quite good. I don't mind I'm not always nuts about the rye IPAs.
Hence the rye bread that you generally made in that character. I mean, that's a characteristic of it.
Oh, you know, we should get Jimmy to submit his kvass recipe, because that would be a cool one to do. The bread beer that he did, that was very good. I forgot all about that. That was good. Anyway, I'm sorry. And so you have this competition coming up. Are you going to name it? Is the person going to name it? Do you think you'll call it after the person, or?
We'd like the person to name it, if and that way we could have whatever that name. Of course, it has to be reasonable and nothing obscene. So something you can put on a box and everybody can see it. So.
Sell in a family-friendly store.
But we've got, I think, 2 out there now. Jerry Scotcho, which Jerry Franklin from Third Wave made many years ago, and we've got Josh's Turkey Drill.
Right.
So
yeah, you just stick someone's name on the front of it, and you should be fine, unless a brewer with the same name makes the same beer. And that seems like it's a lot to do. So I wonder if that will be the next trend, where people start saying, you know, Josh's Turkey Drool, and that's.
But I mean, you can go. I mean, I think most breweries try to name it something that's cute, but yet lets you know what kind of beer it is.
Right, but Bob's Oyster Stout, that would do, right? Or Muskrat Stout,
right?
As you choose it. So it'll be interesting to see as going forward. I think maybe take a look for. There are a couple beers that have people's names on them now that I think about it. I guess it's a good problem to have.
More and more odd things on names because of that.
Right. And the other thing that has to do with the growth of craft beer, and I wanted to know if this was part. There was a report that came out at the end of the year that said that homebrewing is increasing as people are getting more into craft beer. And are you seeing that? Is that happening to you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's been the trend for the last 5 years, and I think part of it is just the price of craft beer. If you want, especially some of the more alcoholic ones, you're spending at least $10 for a 6-pack, if not $10 for a 4-pack.
Right.
Up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the 120 is like $40 for a 4-pack. Or no, the 120 from Dogfish. I think.
Wow, is it really?
36 to 40.
Well, the Worldwide Stout would be the same thing. Worldwide Stout, I think, is $12 a bottle. $12 for the it's $1 an ounce, but it's worth it.
It's a lot of work for them. A lot of ingredients. And
that's good stuff.
They also have had problems in the past where they dump batches because it's not been a successful fermentation. So there's a iffy thing about
the high gravity beers.
Right. But we've not attempted to make a 120 because if Dogfish can't make it, I don't think we could provide something for our customers that would be successful over time. That's what we're trying to do.
Right. So do you, as a result, I guess, what do you top out at like 8 here? Or?
No, we've got some that are 9. In fact, we got a couple of them that actually go up probably about 12%. Some of the we got 2 barley wines that are about 12%. But even those take special. You're feeding the beer, so it takes special handling to try to get it up there, and then when you do bottom, they take probably 4 to 5 months to carbonate because the alcohol is so high.
Right. And can you talk about the difference between a barley wine and a regular beer? Is that just a
barley wine just indicates that it's more up toward wine strength, which is generally 11-12%. So hence the barley wine, it's mostly barley based, so barley wine. So that just indicates it's a higher alcohol beer.
But there's not a process difference. That's what I was.
Not there. But there is some special. Generally, you make a regular beer then of around 8 to 9%. Then you feed it controlled amounts of sugar so that you're not shocking the yeast as much, and it allows it to bump up gradually. And also, most likely, you're adding a second or third yeast that is more alcohol tolerant.
Right.
So,
and now, especially for home brewers, when you're adding these yeasts, are they? It's a different kind.
It'd be a wine yeast and or possibly even a yeast made for distilling, where they're higher tolerance of alcohol. But most of your flavor is going to come from the ale yeast that you started with. So.
Oh, and speaking of distilling, something that I tried I've had it before, but I've never had it really by itself. I did a lot of drinking. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. But I had a bunch of brandy over the holiday. Okay. And isn't brandy distilled wine?
Yep.
That would be a good reason to buy a still, because you have stills here.
Yep.
And you could make your own wine and then make your own brandy. My wife's not going to let me. I don't know why I keep pushing. I'm like, honey, we can make brandy. She's like, no, we can't. We can buy brandy. Yeah. Have you ever done that? Is that something?
We're beer and wine makers, and yes, we do have some things for distillers, but we're not distillers.
Oh, sorry. Is brandy against the rules?
Oh yeah, it's distilled product.
Oh, I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
I do it at home.
I figured it was wine. It doesn't count, no?
But it's wine that you're taking
distilled.
distilling. So
well, no, you shouldn't do
spirits.
that. Yeah, clearly, that's not what they're on. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought I was so proud of myself. I'm like, hey, we could talk about that kind of.
Yes, we do have some of those things, but we're not distillers.
And you don't endorse the idea of distilling wine in your house and making awesome brandy.
I get in trouble enough beer and wine.
I can imagine. So, we're running-ish out of time. A couple things we wanted to hit on. Call back from last year, we were talking about Bruges, and you'd been to Bruges, and we got more information about the Bruges pipeline.
Bruges is in Belgium for those.
Bruges, it's in Belgium.
Yeah.
And they making it out of a special pipe. Did you see their?
I assumed. Well, most of the breweries use a stainless steel, which is stronger than the standard steel, and they use it so that there's no bacterial or yeast contamination. They can make it very smooth so that it's easy to clean and easy to keep clean. So, but they're talking about moving it 4 kilometers. So,
yeah.
Which I don't know what 4 kilometers is. It's a couple miles.
Yeah, 3.5 miles or whatever, something.
Yeah.
3 1/3 miles. But it looks like it's really going to happen. We had talked about it. They were thinking about it, and now and they had pictures and everything.
Amazed. They said it's going to eliminate 500 truckloads a year.
Isn't that crazy? That's a lot of beer. That's a lot of beer. And people were worried. One of the officials had to answer questions about, how are you going to prevent it from tapping it? Yeah, tapping the line. And they're like, well, it's a very strong alloy, and that's it. But so that's going to do us for this week. We're going to call time at the bar. We're going to come up with a better solution for ending this show because.
And now's the time for the winter warmers. It's cold out there. Drink your winter warmers.
Drink your winter warmers. Stay tuned on xtremebrewing.com. We'll have some classes coming up.
We've got wine class next Saturday, basic beer class the following Saturday, and then we've already talked about Jerry, which is the end of the month.
Right. That Saturday is the 31st. I think you're right on that. And we'll let you know, but if it's at all possible, we would like to live broadcast that. That's an all grain event, and is that going to be here inside or that's going to be outside?
Well, it'll be outside.
Yeah.
Weather permitting, hopefully. Yes. Well, we got to because of the gas. We got to do it outside.
Right. You have to do it outside. Yeah. I'll get my old man. My father had an army hat that crosses over like that. So maybe I'll
we've got a spot outside now that's under roof anyway. So, and it helps keep the wind away from you.
So make sure you reach out to us. Any questions, please comment, please share. Please reach out to us if you have any questions, problems, concerns.
And if you're a home brewer or pro brewer that want to get on the show and talk about a subject or just talk about brewing in general, glad to have you. And
you don't even have to make an appointment because this is live and this is free. So, well, clearly it's free, but I mean, it's free entry. So all you have to do is click on either ask a question or just join, and anyone can join, and we'll click on you, and you can join the conversation. So we'd love to have you. We're going to do a lot better this year at engaging with you guys, and we hope you get a chance to engage with us. So until then, thank you. Thanks.